So let's start our practice today in an upright standing position. We're going to grow tall in our mountain posture, Tadasana. Relinking with our stature and making ourselves rise up. Bringing true alignment to our skeletal frame. So we want to look at placing our weight equally into the soles of our feet and beginning to elevate from that place. And as soon as we begin to lift from the soles of our feet, we set a continuum so that every part there above wishes to go in the same direction, upward. We lift the shins and the calf muscles. We create space at the knees, front and back. We raise up through the thighs and we lift the hamstrings. We connect with the flesh of our buttocks and pick the buttocks up, and then we draw the buttock cheeks together. And as we do that, there's this natural tilt takes place within the pelvic girdle. So it's akin to, if your stance is a little bit chest forward, buttocks out behind you, and this curvature in the lower spine, if you lift the buttocks up and draw the buttock cheeks together, you'll feel that you quite naturally want to tilt that pelvis, which is a very positive activity, because then that brings the shoulders to sit perfectly over the hips. And once the pelvis tilts, the next stage is that there's this natural pulling in of the stomach towards the base of the spine to lend it support. And then you can elevate and lift through the trunk of the body, thinking about the skin on the lower body and moving it upwards. So the flesh around the hips, you rise towards the waist, and then the flesh of the waist and the hips up to cover the ribs and lifting up to underneath the armpits. And then to the next breath out, you take the shoulders back, draw the shoulder blades towards each other, and then let the arms hang naturally by the sides of the body, the fingers loose and limp down towards the mat. Your chin is parallel with the floor, and you're now aware that you are very upright, very straight. Just check with the toes that they are relaxed. You should be able to lift and move them quite comfortably rather than gripping into the mat. Close the eyes now, and you may feel a shift of your body weight between the 2 feet. You want to become ever more centered, so you focus into that central meridian that runs directly from crown of head to base of spine. And draw in toward this, pulling flesh and muscle back to bone. And then observe the breath and notice how, as you watch the breath, it starts to lengthen and deepen, bringing a sense of calm about the mind, nice sense of composure about the body. And then open the eyes. Tadasana is going to change the way you view yourself. It's also going to change the way others view you, for you will look more upright, more self-confident, self-aware. Let's now practice standing on the stems of our feet, our toes. We're going to take it nice and slowly, because as you move slowly, so you may consciously control. So keeping that lift that you've created, you're going to take a breath in and just gently peel the heels away from the mat, the soles of the feet away from the mat, and you've got this upward elevation taking place, the energy rising as you lift further and further, coming onto the toes, staying strong and focused, and then with the same composure and to a breath out, you slowly lower. And then breathe in and go again, rising up onto the toes. This time you could raise the hands to shoulder level. And then as you find the fullness of the position, reach into the fingertips, almost wanting to touch the walls beside you. And then as you lower the heels of the feet, synchronize that with the lowering of the hands consciously. And then a third time, breathing in, and let's make the action nice and fluid. No jerking or wobbling. Just keeping that breath attuned to your movement. And returning back centered. So let's continue developing our balance and our coordination with tree posture, Vrksasana. You're going to take the weight onto your left foot, peel the right heel away from the mat, bend in the right knee, and then gently with your right hand on your inner right thigh, revolve the right knee outwards so that it becomes aligned with the hip. Keep the trunk of the body facing ahead of you, both hips in alignment, both sides of the body. So you might like to just have the hands there to check how you are positioned. And then take a nice deep breath in and raise the hands to shoulder level. And then as you exhale, extend through the arms to the fingertips. And then another breath in to bring the palms of the hands together at the heart. Now be aware that you have not slumped in the hips and pushed your left hip and buttock out and dropped the right hip. You want to keep them level. And you're still thinking about that lifting of the buttock cheeks and drawing the buttock cheeks together, and that tilting of the pelvis and the natural pulling in of the stomach. There are many refinements you can make to your position whilst looking as if the position might be quite static, but there's a lot going on internally. And check that the face is soft, the skin relaxed and smooth, the tongue peeled away from the roof of the mouth. And then gently release. To the other side, take the weight into the right foot, have a nice strong standing right leg, keep the skin lifting upwards as you peel the left heel away from the mat, and use your left hand on the inner thigh to gently bring that left knee out in line with the left hip. No dropping of either hip, keep standing tall, raising the arms as you breathe in, stretching into the fingertips as you breathe out. And then bringing the palms of the hands together at the heart, making yourself as tall as you can. Focus on the abdominals, ensure that they are contracting to support the spine. And then gently release. Coming once again into Tadasana. Now we're going to take the weight on the left foot, and we're going to take our right foot to a chosen position, which would either be at the ankle, at the inner knee, or if you can and you have the balance and coordination, take the right foot up to the pubis. Use your right hand to gently draw that right knee out in line with the right hip. Rise up through the trunk of the body, lift the chest, raise the heart, breathe in, take the hands up to reach shoulder level. Feel the organic energy running along the arms, the flesh and the muscles connecting to the bones of the arms, helping to tone and tighten the skin. Nice and slowly now, you're going to turn the head to look out past the right fingertips. The teeth unclenched, the breath flowing smoothly as you come through the centre and go to the other side. And then return to the centre, and with the grace and strength that you came into the position, exit. Drawing yourself back to central Tadasana, mountain, rechecking your alignment, having another lift with a breath in to create that space and elevation, and we'll go to the other side. So you've got a nice strong planted right foot, the toes are relaxed, and you're going to take your left foot into the position that's most comfortable for you, that reflects your balance and your stability in this present moment. Make those adjustments to the position so that you feel nice and strong for preparing to raise the arms. Lift the hands to shoulder level and then stretch and extend through to the fingertips. Keep check that the shoulders are directly over the hips, so the spinal cord is straight. You've got that little tilt of the pelvis, the pulling in of the abdominals. And then nice and gently, slowly, so that you may consciously control, turn the head to look out past your left fingertips. Retaining that sense of height as you turn the head back through the centre, and then to the right to look out past your right fingertips. The shoulders are relaxed and away from the ears. And then you come back to the centre and come out of the position gracefully, with strength, returning to Tadasana, mountain posture. A nice deep breath in, and a long, complete breath out. Let's now step our feet about 3.5 feet apart, maybe 4 feet apart if you have longer legs. We're going to move into Trikonasana, triangle posture. This position is going to help give greater mobility in the hips, and it's going to bend your spine laterally. It's going to tone the sides of your body. For some of you, you might like to try this position with a wall behind you and keep your shoulders and buttocks connected to the wall the whole time. This will give you the true experience of alignment as you go into the position. Let's breathe in, take the hands to shoulder level, extend into the fingertips, lift the toes and turn your feet to the left. Check the positioning of your feet. The heel of your left foot is in line with the instep of your right foot. Your hips and the trunk of your body face directly ahead. Continue with that feeling of elevation up through the legs and activate and engage the knees. Keep them lively and lifted. Create space with your next breath in, and then as you exhale, begin to reach to the left. Reach in from the left hip with the flesh up toward the left armpit, and then from the left armpit all the way to the left fingertips as you lower. Your right shoulder stays aligned with your left, so be aware if your ego is wanting you to get right down to the floor and then you end up folding forward and coming out of alignment. This is incorrect. This is much better, and that's why it's good to practice with a wall behind you so that you can really experience correct alignment. And in correct alignment, you'll really feel the stretch superior. And whilst in this position then, you focus on the breath, and it's the breath that will guide you. When you exhale, you'll be aware that you can actually walk those left fingertips down the left leg. Stay relaxed and composed in the fullness of the position. And then utilising the abdominal muscles, pulling the stomach in so that it gives support to the spine. You'll breathe in and return to that central position with the toes turning to 12 o'clock. And keeping the arms lifted here will help increase their strength and their energy, but if you need to lower them and take a breather, then do so. And we'll prepare to go on the other side. So to a breath in, we'll lift the toes and turn them to the right, and we'll check the positioning of the feet, the heel of the right foot in line with the left instep. The trunk of the body and the hips facing the wall in front of you. You'll rise up through your torso, creating that lift, that space. And then as you exhale, you'll stretch from the right hip all the way along the right side of the body to the right armpit. You'll be reaching those right fingertips to the wall beside you, almost wanting to touch it. And then you'll lower, bringing yourself into Trikonasana, triangle posture. Keep your left shoulder directly above your right. Keep the legs lively, active, lifting, so the flesh is continually thinking of rising upwards. You could even think about rotating the body a bit more, so you could use your hand on the flesh on the front of your body and turn it. And this may allow the head and neck to rotate on the cervical spine to look up towards the thumb. Only if that feels comfortable. If you prefer, you could have the gaze downward or directly ahead. And then pulling the stomach in, breathing in and coming back to that central position, toes to 12 o'clock. And then you can lower the arms, lower the chin, and watch the chest rise and fall for a breath. And then step the feet together. Once again, we find ourselves in Tadasana. We're going to practice Vrksasana now, the chair posture, or otherwise known as the mighty one. And this really helps increase the strength of your back. It shapes and tones your thigh muscles, and it gives a very dynamic zigzag shape that you make. It helps you think about extending your lower body into your upper body. And many benefits for the mighty one, chair posture. So dependent upon your practice and how you feel, you can either keep the feet together or you can have them hip width apart. Relax the toes. You want to acknowledge that at no time do you really force any stress or tension into the toes. The weight of your body is distributed between the four corners of your feet, the balls of the feet, the heels of the feet. It shouldn't need to go into your toes. Let's breathe in and take the hands forward in front of you. Nice long arms. Take the shoulders back and down so they stay away from lifting towards the ears. We want to avoid doing this. You're scooping up internally, you're pulling pubis to navel, navel to breastbone, this nice zipping up, extension upwards. And then to an exhalation, you're going to start bending the knees, almost how you do when you sit into a chair. Avoid pushing your buttocks out and your chest forward. You still want to keep that nice flat lower back. It's almost like the coccygeal region of your back is pointing down toward the floor behind you. And then as you sink lower, see if you can raise the hands a little higher. Keep the breath flowing and keep the skin on the face relaxed. See if you can sink lower a little further. Tilt the pelvis, pull the tummy in, raise the arms. And then breathe in and return to upright position, back to Tadasana. And let the breath come out completely. You might like to even sigh the breath out. Let's go once again with that. So your choice where you're placing your feet, either close together with the big toes touching or hip width apart. Let's take a breath in, get those hands to shoulder level, the palms of the hands facing one another. Nice deep breath in. As you exhale, feel the energy going down into the feet as you bend the knees, but also rising up through the trunk of the body. So it's almost like the opposing forces of up and down taking place together. Tilt the pelvis so that you really smooth out the base of the spine. It stays nice and flat. And then the tummy can pull in to give extra support there. Raise the hands a little. Bend the knees and lower your seat a little further. No pressure in the toes. Keep the toes relaxed. See if you can raise the arms. Breathe. And then to a breath in, rising up, bringing yourself back to Tadasana. You might like to give yourself a little bit of a shake. And now let's go for a forward flexion of the spine. Now with a standing forward bend, you want to be aware that the fullness of your legs can assist with this position. So when you're taking your body forward, take the time to allow all of the legs to assist. The origin of this movement is in the hips. So rather than bending forward slumped, rounding the shoulders and having the ribs collapse into the stomach, you want to think of hinging at the hips. So we're going to take our hands and the edge of the outer hands, the little fingers, we're just going to rest into the crease of our upper legs, in fact the front groins. So just rest your hands there. Take a nice deep inhalation and become aware of the lift that you can create in that area. Once again, the toes are soft and the weight is distributed equally between the balls and heels of your feet. Another breath in and you lift pubis to navel, you create space in the pelvis. And then as you exhale, begin to hinge forward. So at no time are you rounding your shoulders. In fact, you're drawing your elbows out and back a little so that you may go down with a straight spine. And get yourself to a central position so that you have a tabletop spine. You could almost imagine resting your bone china cup and saucer on your back and not spill a drop of the tea in there. Now at this point you can let the hands relax forward and really start to let go of the upper body, the back of the neck. You want the crown of the head to point down towards the mat. Be aware if you've pushed your buttocks to the wall behind you. Take a breath in and bring your buttocks to rest over the heels of your feet. Now this will make an adjustment of the weight in the feet. You may feel a little bit imbalanced, but you can adjust and adapt. If your hands can't yet reach the floor, you can rest them onto the shins or the thighs. If the legs feel really tight, you can have a slight bend in the knees whilst you allow the breath to flow, ebb and flow. And every time you breathe out, your hamstrings will start lengthening, they'll start relaxing. You relax the mind so that the body will follow suit. Take out any tension in the toes. You don't need to be gripping the toes into the mat. And in the fullness of the position, you are actually inverted, meaning your head is below your heart. So in this instance, your head, your brain is getting extra oxygen. So be aware of this when you come up. You'll want to come up nice and slowly so that the new rich oxygenated levels of blood in your upper body are able to settle with ease. If your legs begin to shake, it is your nervous system telling you that you are at the point of overstretching, so you should move out of the position slightly, give a greater bend to the knees, rest your trunk on your upper thighs. Take one more round of deep breath, and then we'll have our chin to our chest. We'll walk our hands up our legs, we'll pull the tummy in, restack the bones of our vertebral column, our spine. Once our shoulders are over our hips, we'll bring our chin parallel to the mat, returning to where we started, Tadasana. Gently close the eyes, centralize your total body mass weight to distribute itself into your 2 feet. Nice soft toes. Connect with your flow of breath. You may feel that your heartbeat is a little faster than it was before. That's fine. You just want to look at lengthening your flow of breath, and that will bring the heart rate to return to normal. And then open the eyes. Bring the palms of the hands together at your heart to give yourself thanks and gratitude for your practice, for the dedication you are showing to the maintenance and self-care, leading you towards having a great sense of well-being. keep in mind that yoga is good for you.